The question is, Hollywood films getting better?
Yes.
That's the question. So two ways to answer that. I think cinematography and production design, I think they're getting better. I think acting and screenwriting and directing have gotten worse. And are getting worse, by the way, because I don't think there's an incentive to be better, which I think is the major problem, by the way, with Nollywood, is that it doesn't seem to me like there's a lot of incentive to get better at what these people do. But like I said, cinematography is getting better, production design is getting better. I just don't think that acting, I see some of the movies, for instance, and I'm like thinking to myself that you can tell this person is acting. I didn't used to feel this way when I saw old Nollywood movies. You know, I used to feel like, okay, this person had like a veneer, a layer of artifice to what they were doing. I thought that they were living that life. Today I see the movies, whether they're in the cinemas, whether they're on YouTube, whether they're on Netflix, I sense that everybody I'm watching is aware that they're acting. You know, and I think that's the fault of the directors. Sometimes it's like, you should be able to tell that this person isn't doing her best. I've seen pictures where the actor is good in this film, in the next film she's poor, and I think the directing problem, that inconsistency, plus just the lack of personal excellence. And I think on the level of screenwriting, as Nami just pointed out, we still don't know how to learn the stories. I think 2016 or so, I remember watching a comedy, and I was thinking to myself, this is a very good film, and then within the last 20 minutes, the entire film collapses. I think it has gotten worse since then, where people just don't know how to end stories. So yeah, to recap, cinematography is fine, production design is fine, acting, directing, screenwriting are in the gutters.
Right. Because I don't want you to just answer the question directly, can I layer something on the back of that? If both of them are saying it has gotten worse progressively, why do you think that is as well?
Well, the industry, the way it's structured right now, I don't think, like Horace mentioned, we have any incentive to be better. And why don't we have that? You can look at many things, ROI, platformization, so many things are not in place for people to really allow themselves to be creative thoroughly. So when you know you have a certain amount of money that was invested in a picture, and you're supposed to make money between 1 to 5 years, you quickly just try your best to do what you can do and make the best of it. Really. So as a result, creativity reduces, people are not really invested in it. So if you look at what it takes for a picture to be successful, if you bring the almighty Nollywood to play, you're going to look at pre-production, the level of pre-production that is required, where you even need to know the type of story that you have to do during a particular season and the people that will patronize that particular film. So all those processes don't get put into place. So people just already go and make a film. They try to promote it maybe 2 weeks to the film release. So as a result, when you now have multiple films doing that same thing, yes, they can easily say, we're not developed. So many things are suffer, which is understandable. But I look at the silver lining a little bit where if you look at the marketability of the films in Nollywood now and the channels that they use, which in my own opinion, they haven't even scratched the surface. Everybody has to be accountable at every point where you hear actors complain about promoting films. I find that very funny because you don't see the same Hollywood copy. You see, even Michelle Obama, when she was releasing her own content, she had a press tour. She wasn't doing Zoom in her living room because she's a big chick.
Was she dancing?
Do you understand what? Yes, they do TikTok dances. If you watch series, you see a lot of them. They do TikTok dances. They do all those things. It comes with television, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we can't want to pick and choose, in that entire formula and the active. So I believe, yes, those things are mentioned are correct, but I think the industry is growing.
Yeah.
I think there's several other parts that are growing along with it. But do we now need to be very honest with ourselves to know what we need to do? Yes, I think that we're at that juncture now where if everybody comes together, every company comes together, yes, we can make it a huge successful show.
Right. Thank you so much. Can I ask you please put our hands together for that? This is a solid conversation thus far. Our time is flying, but I have just one last question for every single one of you. I have a question for us in the audience as well, because I want to be able to gauge your pulse. So just humor me, all right? I'm just going to call out 2 options, and you can let me know. Old Nollywood or new Nollywood?
One Nollywood, thank you. I like that.
No, but wait, sorry.
Nollywood is Nollywood.
Let's be honest, right? I agree that Nollywood is one, right? I think we all agree that Nollywood is one, no? Yeah, that's fine. We agree. We also agree that it's a whole Nollywood and it's a new Nollywood.
Not necessarily. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the plan was to have honest conversations and end with solutions. So I'm going to ask one last question, and that is, what's your preferred streaming platform? Streaming means, yeah, anyone that wants to just anything kind of. No, maybe not platform means now. I don't want us to just call out brands. There's a gentleman there raising his hand. Hello, Tito. Great to see you.
Right, let's go around.
Hi,
Reviewer, YouTuber, you should check him out. He does great stuff. There's a bunch of conversations in there that I also want to be able to pull out and ask every single one of us. Yeah, I can see the screen. I'm ignoring it. My father's shadow. I feel like there's a definition to success, by the way. Because some people would argue that my father's shadow did quite well. Before you answer my next question, though, I want to ask all 3 of you something. What is the last great Nollywood film you saw? Okay.
I don't know if it's Nollywood. I think it's the best
When we get off the platform, I'll ask you if that's really a Nollywood movie. But you're
I have several. The Herd, for example.
okay. Now you take the father's shadow for sure.
I mean, after the Imo Fair, because, there's a bit of art, filmmaking the Imo Fair, my father's shadow. So, yeah, my father's shadow, so I just have that,
Right, that. Tito said 2 things. Nigeria is a poor country, that's why he prefers YouTube. I'm paraphrasing now, and I suspect that's what a lot of people would say as well if they tell you why they prefer YouTube. However, when the conversation on YouTube comes up as a streaming process, we cannot but also talk about how the quality of the products we see on there are not particularly great. Talk to me about what you think makes a quality film.
So maybe Oris should do a better job talking about that. I just wanted to respond to Tito real quick. Now, I think we have the chance as filmmakers to help the audience watch the films, right?
Yeah.
What you give the audience is what they consume. For the longest, we're giving them a lot of slapstick stuff that don't make any sense. And they've consumed that, and that is their own status quo. That is excitement for them. Which is why when films like Imo Fair or Father Shadow and the likes come out, they're like, what is going on? That's the challenge in Nollywood. I remember when King of Boys came out, at the time, the cinemas, it had to be comedy. That would be wedding party or this kind of stuff. But King of Boys with word of mouth and the kind of stuff that Kennedy did on the job, it didn't even make so much in the first opening weekend or the first week. I think it was about the second or third week. But Nigerians were excited to watch it, right? Because they saw something different. So the filmmakers have the right to do that. I get a power of the audience want to see a particular thing, but it is what you're giving them for too long. If you give me rice for too long, and you're trying to introduce me to fried rice, I'm like, nah, I'm just going for it. Like they say, the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know. So let me just keep watching comedy and just keep laughing. But the other good stuff on the cinemas, the other good stuff on YouTube, why are we not watching them? So we cannot reduce the excitement of Nigerians when it comes to consuming films to slapstick stuff or to stuff by particular individuals. Because we have a lot more filmmakers in Nollywood than 3 persons. So how do you ensure that every other person gets some sort of chunk or gets some sort of, whatever from the distribution? Why is it just 3 persons every year? What's going on? So that's the conversation we should be having, no? Thank you.
You can put your hands together if you think that it's cool. Yes. Alright. Okay, they will do it in 5 seconds each.
What is the question?
5 seconds. What makes a quality film?
I have to give a political answer. Respect for the audience. That's just what I was saying.
What makes a quality film?
Yes. 5 seconds.
Research.
Can I have a please put our hands together for Iraqo, Morris, and Dami? Please, come on guys, you look like you're jealous or you said some things that might not. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can you please stand up and take a picture of you guys?